Click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get instant notification of new videos as they're released. So I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up to my jigsaw video, which if I lean over here will mysteriously appear in the window over here somewhere. Hopefully I'm pointing and holding it right now so you can click on it and go and watch the jigsaw video if you haven't seen it already, and you have to watch it first before you can watch this video. But yeah, the reason for wanting to do the follow-up on there was to give you a little bit of structure, because the jigsaw video was a sort of conceptual introduction to the way that I think and understand. But if we look at a market as a jigsaw puzzle, you can begin to infer a number of things. So you have a starting point in the market, you have an ending point in the market. If you look at all of the variables in the market from the start to the finish, you can start to join together the dots or find the edge of the market, as I put it on the video. And you know, if something starts here and finishes there, and something else in the market starts there and finishes there, you can start to draw comparisons from there. But also, you know, take a look at football, for example. So when I look at a football match, I can see the odds at the start of the match. So what I do is I go into my database and I scroll through all of the available odds and filter them out. So I've got other matches that had those exact odds. And then I look at what happened within that match. So I'm forming a picture. I'm using the outline of the odds to begin to form a picture on what actually happened during the match. From that, I can begin to derive, you know, how many goals were there. And if you can derive how many goals there were in that type of match, then you start dividing those goals amongst the two teams. And when you start dividing those goals amongst the two teams, you can derive other information. So for example, if you know how many goals are going to be scored in a match, or are likely to be scored in a match, then you can work out what price 0-0 should be. And if the price in the market is significantly different to what you expect, then you start digging around to try and find out what that is. But once you've split the goals between the two teams, then you can begin to work out all the other scores. And once you've worked out all the other scores, you can begin to work out the match odds. But you can also look at things such as, if you know the total number of goals, then you can also predict roughly when that first goal will arrive within a time window. So it's possible to derive a lot of information with very small amounts. But all we've done is we've taken the odds at the start of a match, we've looked at all of the results that have gone with that and how they occurred, and then we can start to unpick information from within inside the market. So when we see that match and we see the way it's constructed, we can actually say, well, look at all these paths that it's followed in all of these, and what led to that particular scoreline. You know, that's an unusual scoreline. All of the other ones, the home team won, but on this scoreline they didn't. So what actually happened in that match? Let's look at that particular match and try and understand what was the precursor to that unexpected loss. Oh yeah, you know, this turned out this happened and that happened, and there was an early red card, or, you know, whatever, and so on and so forth. But you can begin to form that picture in your head. And over the years, that's exactly what I've done on every market. The big three for me are tennis, horse racing, and football. And in each one of those markets, every market that takes place, I will capture data, the before state and the after state, and start to join the two together. So I can tell from any type of characteristic what is the most likely thing to occur in that market and why it occurred. So when I look at a racing market at midday for a market that's going off at 3 o'clock, I can tell you roughly how that market's going to trade, where the money's going to arrive, when it's going to arrive, on which horse it's likely to arrive, and all of those details. But even then, when I paint that picture, or put that puzzle together, as I should say, there will be little bits missing. So as the market begins to develop, the other bits start to get put into place. Even then, sometimes large chunks of the puzzle are missing, and I just can't figure out exactly what I'm looking at. But the answer is really simple to that problem. You just don't do it. If you can't form a clear picture in terms of what you're looking at in the market, you just skip it over. You stick it in the too hard bin, you dump it in there, and you don't worry about it. Because what you're looking for, if a market comes along and you can't do it, you just go, can't do it. Then another market comes along and you say, oh yeah, I've seen this before, I recognise that. Here are all the characteristics, boom, this is what I'm going to do. There's no obligation when you're trading on sports to trade every single market. So when I go into a market, I have this list in my head of 1 to 10 things, or it could be 1 to 5, it depends upon what market I'm looking at and so on and so forth. Too complicated to explain in this video. But I will grade it in my head. So if I see all of the characteristics that I want in the market, then I'll really go for it. And I'll be, you know, a slam dunk of a trade, and I'll ramp up my stakes and I will go for it. But let's say that, you know, several of the characteristics are missing. In other words, bits of the puzzle are not there. then I just gently scale back my aggression in the market, use smaller stakes, and just do things a little bit more cautiously. And that's actually one of the best ways you can have of actually avoiding a loss. You wait for the right opportunity to come round, and then you hit it for 6. So, that's the great thing about the market. You're under no obligation to trade. And if you start to form a picture on how the market is shaped and what you expect it to do and what it looks like, then you can actually work on anticipating and actively trading that in that manner. So yeah, I wanted to do this video to sort of round off the jigsaw puzzle piece and say to you, all markets have an opening state and an ending state. You have to join those two things together. And then when you see these opening states, you'll know all of the possible paths that it could follow, and you'll know the characteristics that got it to that end state. And if you're going to research a market, that's exactly how you should research it. That's how I've done it over a number of years, and it's proved very successful. So yeah, go out there, find a randomly assorted puzzle, and start putting the pieces together. If you're interested in learning more about BetAngel, its tools, and the opportunities they present, then why not visit betangel.com today and download a free trial.